everybody, welcome back for another edition of SHOREVIEWKEN, coming to you from the A Button Retro Game Bar in Akihabara. Today, a very special review. I say that every time, but today it's especially special because we are reviewing FX Unit Yuki for the Dreamcast here on SHOREVIEWKEN, and this is going to be an extremely biased review because I know the guy who created this game, Sarumaru, and so all my cards on the table. I really don't like Sarumaru. I don't like the man, and I'm going to tear his game apart. So sit back, relax, as I destroy FX Unit Yuki on the Dreamcast. FX Unit Yuki, the Henshin engine, the 2018 release by Saru Pro that was ported to several consoles, but for our purposes we'll be examining the Dreamcast port, and I haven't actually played the other versions, so I can't attest to the differences between them, but I've got to say, even though that Sarumaru guy really makes my blood boil, and I did say I'd rip his game apart, that's a pretty tall order because there is a lot to love in this game that really does a lot to touch a nostalgic nerve, especially in those of us who have a love for the PC Engine and TurboGrafx-16, because first and foremost this game features a story that makes it possible to cleverly implement homages to various games that famously appeared on NEC's classic console. In the opening cutscene, we're introduced to Yuki, a new recruit at the JEC Game Corporation, when she forms a neurological link with the new FX Engine game console and is transformed into FX Unit Yuki with the ability to enter into video games to fix bugs and repair problems from within, but unbeknownst to them and knownst to us, they've been spied on by the diabolical SG Corporation that has their own virtual warrior in the form of Ultra Drive Unit Jenny, who is designed to be the perfect foil for Yuki. And so the stage is set for a battle between these two giants of the gaming world, and for a game that will take us to some very familiar places. The gameplay in FX Unit Yuki can be divided into a few different styles, but for the bulk of the game you'll be playing a good old-fashioned action platformer, and as with any platformer, the key things you really need are tight controls and good level design, and I can say that both of those things are accomplished here. I don't think it's exactly Super Mario 3 or Ninja Gaiden, but it's definitely an above-average effort. As Yuki, you're given a basic laser sword attack to dispatch foes with, which you can also attack above you and perform a ducking attack, but you're also given a charge shot attack that is not only very useful for killing enemies, but also for clearing barriers in your path, and by collecting the appropriate power-ups, you can also perform a double jump and a slide dash, so you are very well equipped to deal with all of the tricky platforming and bothersome enemies that the game throws at you, up to and including a bunch of boss battles, some of which have you squaring off against the baddies from SG Corporation in one form or another, and they'll have you using more than a few continues. In short, while the platforming and combat aren't exactly perfect, they are satisfying, challenging, and fun when you incorporate enemies and stage features inspired by classics like Bonk's Adventure, Adventure Island, and Dracula X. It does a lot to elevate what was already a pretty solid gameplay experience. Aside from the platforming, the other most prominent gameplay style in FX Unit Yuki comes in the form of a few shoot-'em-up stages that are clearly inspired by some fantastic shooters like Cotton 100% and Lords of Thunder, and while I didn't expect this game to match the quality of those genre greats, and to be fair it doesn't, I was still excited to get a little bit of shooter action to enjoy, as it's one of my favorite genres of games, and I'm pleased with what we got. Again, similar to the platforming, while it doesn't reach the level of some of the best on the console, these shooter stages are still fun and challenging. Lots of enemies to contend with, power-ups to collect, tight and responsive controls, and some big boss battles that again mirror something that you might have seen in the games they're inspired by. Also, just like the platforming stages, the visual design, enemies, and other elements being homaged here goes a long way to taking what's a fun shooting experience and giving you a bit of a nostalgia high. So once again, while it's not perfect, it's certainly satisfying. Now we come to the visuals and sound design, and I think an argument could be made that more so than the gameplay, this is what will have the biggest impact on you, because obviously a lot of work went into making this game look and sound as good as possible. The character designs by Sawamaru definitely capture his love of 80s and 90s era anime, and they translate very well into 2D sprites, which in general, the sprite work here is really good. Also, I've said several times that it's quite obvious that each stage in this game is inspired by a popular title on the PC Engine, and when you combine the different visual styles of games like Castlevania, Adventure Island, and Lords of Thunder, incorporate Sawamaru's own unique visual aesthetic and apply some really fantastic sprite work and a lot of attention to detail, this is a great looking game overall. And on top of that, FX Unit Yuki features a soundtrack that is far and away one of the best game soundtracks I've heard in a long time, courtesy of Garbled Waves. Each stage features a track that is perfect for the setting, including a seriously badass boss theme, and it's honestly almost impossible to choose a favorite amongst so many outstanding songs. Taking all of this into account, it's amazing that this game is the result of just 3 guys pouring all of their talent and passion into what is ultimately a very enjoyable game in its own right, while also serving as a beautiful callback to some of the titles that made us the gamers we are today. Fun gameplay, great visuals, and a once-in-a-lifetime soundtrack make this a game that is certainly not to be missed for retro gaming fans. In short, it's awesome. So that's it, FX Unit Yuki for the Sega Dreamcast. I told you this was going to be a very biased review, but what can I say? I just can't stand that Sawamaru guy. He's like way too cute, way too cuddly, and it sickens me. So thanks everybody for watching. Definitely do not go to the website that will be listed down in the description and pick up your very own copy of FX Unit Yuki for the PC Engine, Dreamcast, or Mega Drive. Definitely don't do that. Those links are going to be down there, but that's just a matter of circumstance. Definitely do not pick up this game that is so good that it makes me angry. So thanks for watching everybody, and come back next time for more SHOREVIEWKEN. See you then. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more just like it, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and if you'd like to follow me on other social media, links are in the description to my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon, where you can receive things like Japanese snacks, manga, and video games in the mail every month. Thanks for watching everybody, and I'll see you next time.